I am here to talk to you all about why I am not excited that Teyana Taylor won, I think it's Artist of the Year at the BET Awards. I believe that the reason why Teyana Taylor received this award in the first place is because she engaged in sexual activities with a white man in the movie One Battle After Another. I think the fact that the man was white was significant to her winning all of these awards all of a sudden. I've been following Teyana Taylor's career for quite some time now. She was going to retire because she was not getting recognized, and even this last album she put out, I think it did okay, but it wasn't like chart topping or anything. And then after Teyana Taylor was sexual in a movie with a white man, all of a sudden everyone's celebrating her. I think that's very strategic. I think it is on par with what we see with a lot of different celebrities, and I'm going to insert Issa Rae and Chole Bailey in a minute. But I am not excited about this. I think it's great that Janet Jackson, I heard she flew all the way from Japan to come back to the States just to present the award to Teyana Taylor at the BET Awards. We all know that the BET Awards is controlled not by us, not by black folks. So even the fact that this was presented to her at the BET Awards means nothing. It really doesn't mean that she's celebrated by black people. I think whatever white powers that are behind BET, of course, they decided that it was time that she finally get recognized again because she busted wide open and a white man was part of that. And I think there's a part of society that I think that Teyana Taylor, Miss, Black Love, Afrocentric, that, because that's why I started following Teyana Taylor, is because she represented something that I represent. And I was like, wow, who is this girl? She's so talented. And, she just, her features and her hair and everything at that time, I forgot the album, she was at the time married to Iman Shumpert, the basketball player. And I think that there's a part of society that gets pleasure from turning, it's probably not the right term, but turning those type of women out. And when I say that, I mean taking a woman like that. It would be kind of like, who else could I say? Someone that we really respect. I don't know why Queen Latifah comes to mind, but but let's just use Queen Latifah, taking someone like that and then saying, hey, do this movie, and what I would like you to do is this scene where you're going to be bent over and a white man is going to be doing. And so all of a sudden what happens is that in the minds of the viewer, she goes from Queen Latifah, right, to a hoe in our minds. Now we know that she's still Queen Latifah. We know that it's a movie. We know it's fake, but subconsciously we don't see her as queen because we can't get those images out of our mind. That is how I feel as though Teyana Taylor was in many ways kind of pimped with this whole thing. And again, everyone's so excited for her. She's excited. She's crying. She's like, oh my God, finally I'm being recognized. I can't get excited if somebody is being recognized because they finally did the thing that, publicly, because who knows what she does in private, but publicly she finally did the one thing that gives white America power over her. And now white America is the one celebrating her. They're in control, not her. She thinks that, she's finally being recognized for her talent. No, ma'am, you're finally being viewed in a very sketchy light, and because that signals that you'll do anything. So we're probably going to see Teyana Taylor and her butt cheeks a lot more. We've been seeing her butt cheeks a lot more, right? And to be clear, she was always a sex symbol. I knew of her when she was in Kanye West's video, right? But again, at that time, it was the positioning of it. Sorry, I thought it was a bug in here. It was a positioning of it. And Kanye West is a black man, and but once we take someone like that and we move them to the white community, and it just, and I don't know, you would have had to see the movie to really understand why I'm making a big deal out of this. This wasn't like a normal sex thing, like, oh, she kissed, no, it was cringe. And again, all this stuff gets hidden under, well, it's just entertainment. I mean, it's just a movie, but we all know that art mirrors life. Whatever that phrase is, art imitates life. So, really quick, I want to talk about, what's her name? Chole Bailey. And I don't know if you saw the movie Swarm, but very similarly, Chole Bailey was bent over. So this is like one of the opening scenes. Chole Bailey, Beyonce's protege, part of Chloe and Halle, who we knew as this innocent, young girl with locks, who was Afrocentric. I mean, I even told my daughter that I wanted my daughter to pay attention to Chloe and Halle, because they were few women in entertainment with locks, and me and my daughter both have locks. I believe this is Chloe's one of her first major films. The opening scene, she's bent over having sex with, what is his name, Damson Idris or something like that. I mean, he was a black man, but still, it's the positioning. Now I'm like, granted, I know it's a movie and it's fake, but why do we have to see you like this? And why did you agree to do this? Because this positions you as a certain type of actress, in my opinion. And it was distasteful, and a lot of people were like, why did she move like that? Like, you have to be strategic with how you move in life, but especially in entertainment. Issa Rae, another person, again, who I looked at. I used to watch her Awkward Black Girl series when she was on YouTube. She blew up off of YouTube. She makes it, now she's on HBO. And one of my complaints about her show, although I thought Insecure was a great show, my complaint was all the unnecessary sex scenes. And I'm not a prude. I promise you I'm not. But it's just like, to me, when it's overdone, it takes away from the art. It takes away from the story. You don't have to open up every other episode with, somebody busting it wide open. You just don't have to do that, because you're more talented than that. It would just be like a talented rapper, female rapper. If you're really talented, you shouldn't have to keep rapping about your PUSSY. You should have more range, more topics, more things to talk about. So that's how I felt like Issa Rae, although yes, she made it, but it's like, how much did you make it if you don't have the creative control? Now, and maybe she did have the creative control, but I would argue she probably didn't have full control, because she's on HBO, and people on HBO who watch that want to see certain things. And so now you have to compromise. You can't just do the awkward black girl. You gotta show the white people some skin. And it disturbed me. I have a coworker who at the time was like in her 50s, a white woman, who was telling me how she watches Insecure all the time. And I'm like, because I knew Insecure as like, oh, this is a show for us black girls, And so now when you move that into the mainstream, it's gonna come with some very interesting thing. I was so uncomfortable her telling me she watches that, even though she has the right to. I mean, she's a public citizen and can pay for a subscription to HBO, but it was like, oh, you're looking at that? Because what you're seeing, what I saw a lot on Insecure was a lot of black butt cheeks. So it's just giving fetishes. Like, I don't know who has a fetish, but if someone does have a fetish for black butt cheeks, have at it. With Chole Bailey, with Issa Rae, with Teyana Taylor. Now let me talk real quick about Lizzo. I've been hearing what's going on with Lizzo, her album flopping. I feel kind of bad for her. I actually do feel bad for her because I do believe she's talented, but that is the price that you pay when you do what I'm talking about. Lizzo for years was more about antics. She was all about antics. She focused more on twerking, having her butt cheeks out at the Lakers game, saying all this type of sexual, vulgar stuff out of her mouth. I mean, Lizzo was someone who became a walking sex toy. Seriously, that is how I looked at her. And I knew that she was talented and her songs would come on the radio, but I couldn't get past the antics, the sexual antics. So it wasn't a surprise when I saw that people are suing her for being sexually harassed, sexual harassment and just being sexually inappropriate. It wasn't a surprise because she was always inappropriate. I mean, you can go back on this channel. I have videos of things that she's done, like been on someone's live and pulled her pants down. Why are you pulling your pants down on a live? Why are you doing that? And you're Lizzo, right? So I wanted to see her in a respectable light. I just couldn't. It was so hard for me to see her. Again, I reference Queen Latifah because she is somebody who I respect. I mean, and I'm sure there's other black women like her, but there's not a lot because a lot of them end up doing the things that I'm talking about. I wish that I could say, oh, there's this long list of black women who, oh my God, I have so much reverence and respect for them. Unfortunately, I can't say that because a lot of them fall into the trap. Now, you can say, well, Nate, it's easy for you to say because no one has offered you millions of dollars. So therefore, that's why you're saying that. And that's true. No one has offered me millions of dollars to strip down naked, bust it wide open, be in these sex scenes with these white men or whoever. No one has offered me that. I would like to believe that if I was offered that I would turn it down. Now, again, I have no evidence to prove that I would because it hasn't happened. No one has offered me the money. But I can only give my opinion based on what I believe I would do. I have been offered things in my life that I've turned down, I mean, not $1 million to be in anybody's movie, but other things that I was like, other monetary things that would have subjected me to some stuff that I just didn't want to have to deal with. So it's just disappointing to me. And I understand that, Normani is probably another one. I don't know as much about her, but she's another one that's like, and she can dance. I get it. Sometimes it's like, if you're a sexy person, you want to sell that. It makes sense. Another argument people can make is, well, Nick, if you look like them, you would do it too. Again, I don't look like them, so I can't say what I would do, but I just would hope that I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want my daughter to do that. That's another thing. When I think about what I want for her, I don't want this for her. My daughter is actually an actress. She's into acting. And that is one of her concerns about going into, she more so is into theater, but one of her concerns, and this is getting long, is she doesn't want to have to do things inappropriate, things that she doesn't feel comfortable doing just to have a role in something. So, but again, Lizzo, and I'm going to say something quick about Kelly Rowland and I'll try to stop this, but Lizzo, I think what Lizzo is suffering from now is the fact that she was being pushed because of all the sexual stuff that she was doing. And now that she's lost weight, cleaned up her act, she's a lot more, even just her demeanor, everything has changed about her. I just think that she's not as appealing to the label and to the powers that be. They can't exploit her in that same way. Because she's not exploiting herself anymore, other people can't exploit her as well. And that is not, you can't really, it's harder to monetize that. Monetize people who respect themselves, right? I'm not saying that it's not possible. Queen Latifah did it. Queen Latifah did a lot of stuff, but I'm sure she turned a lot of things down. And that's the thing. You have to sometimes be willing to say no. Teyana Taylor did not have to be in that movie. She could have waited for other opportunities. But perhaps she was told that if you do this, you're going to get all this. Lastly, and this relates to my last video about Kelly Rowland. Sorry. I've been in this car for too long. Hold on. The thing about Kelly Rowland, really quickly, I wanted to say is that similar people really didn't start checking for Kelly Rowland until she started to make more sexual music, until she got her breasts done. That was kind of, this was some years ago. Then you start hearing people like Kevin Samuels say that, oh my gosh, she's so attractive, she's a 9, or whatever number he would give her. Women keep falling into this trap, and Kelly Rowland did, I remember there was a video she did where she showed her breast, and and it's like, fine, like, again, I understand people see this as art. There's a lot of people who are like, well, this is just art, like, but I think it's sometimes an excuse for people to sell themselves for the wrong thing and in the wrong way. So I will leave it there. Hope you all have a good rest of your week. Talk to you later. Bye.